welcome back to Krown's Crypto Cave. Waking up for a very early Sunday morning, still extremely jet lagged, but you know what? It's time to talk about some goddamn magic internet money. A little bit of a glimpse into the new setup so far, but so much to do still. Oh my god, I feel like I feel very overwhelmed with everything. But before we get into the actual analysis, I do want to first and foremost say apologies for all the people who have been reaching out to me, and I've been a little bit slower getting back towards. Understand that I have been moving countries for the third time in the last like few months, so I do apologize about that. But I'm working my way back, and I promise I will get to you if I haven't already. And again, just trying my best on over here. But slowly but surely we'll be taking care of that. I expect to have everything done in this new apartment probably sometime this week, maybe Wednesday or Thursday. I still don't have actually access to all of my all my main computers and wares and all that kind of stuff. But soon enough, as long as these damn Estonians send my fucking shit, man. Really enjoy living in Estonia. Really don't enjoy doing business in Estonia. I'll put it that way, man. Anyways, with regards to all that, I do want to also say what else? What other orders of business that I want to get to? Well, probably do want to talk about the sale going on, but we'll get to that in just a second. But as always, I do want to wish you all on this lovely little Sunday, Goat Jesus Sunday. Pray to Goat Jesus, pray to your Lord and Savior, or just whatever denomination that you do enjoy. And with all of that said, let's get in the live stream right here, right now, and let's initiate that teleportation. Come on, baby, and show me the money. And there it is. Whoops, that's my dribbit. Let's get actually onto the charts right here. And I do want to show I do want to show the code for for the sale that we have going on, which will be ending tonight. Whenever the clock strikes midnight for 4th of July, Freedom 20 is the code for 20% off of all programs and all plans. And that is what is going on over there? Sorry, my computer doing all sorts of weird things right now. Man, I can't wait till I get that new one back. Anyways, more importantly, with regards to these programs, I always like to say this. I know it gets fucking annoying, but it's more important to make sure that's a good fit for you rather than it is for me. Because for me, my main wares, my main source of income is from actually trading, not from selling these programs. And when it comes down to that, I do want to make sure that it's a good fit. So please check out the reviews. If you are in any sort of dilemma, reach out to me. We can figure out if it's a good fit or not. More importantly, for most people, it's not going to be in any way reasonable to invest in any of these programs. Not only is it a massive time commitment because the technical analysis program and the options programs are both 35 hours plus long. They're also big financial commitments as well, and so these are really designed for people who want to do this in a more serious manner. As a living is what I typically like to say. Of course, not everyone's going to be doing it like that, but I'm not going to be the arbiter to tell you oh, you can do this or you cannot do this. No, I'm not here to be your dad. I'm just here to share what these are really designed for, so there's no surprise or anything like that. But the technical analysis program, to just explain it, the links are all in the description below. Three programs, of course. Technical analysis program, first and foremost, going to be applicable to most people. That is an all-encompassing program that goes from top to bottom on technical analysis and position management, risk management, understanding market dynamics, and of course, access to a couple proprietary indicators. That's going to be applicable to most people if you are even the kind of person who's going to be interested in a program like this to begin with. And then the options program is another 35-hour plus long program, which is just fully focused on the derivative products options, which is my favorite way of doing things. Of course, that is I don't want to scare anyone away from it, because if you want to learn options, it can certainly be done, but I would say it's a little bit more advanced than the technical analysis program. So if you're in doubt, that's probably not the one for you. And then, of course, the Joule indicators also in the description as well. And that's a little bit more instant gratification. Admittedly, they are just access to indicators. It is not a 35-hour plus long program. It's just a few videos on how to actually use them. Anyways, with regards to all of that, I do want to get this off now because, god damn it, I want to talk about some goddamn magic internet money, as Bitcoin's been doing all sorts of crazy things. I want to follow up with where I left off yesterday. So yesterday we were looking at this price action right here, on the 2-hour dildo time frame, focusing on this with regards to the white 200 simple moving average right here. Why is that a big deal, and what we were looking for? Well, we were looking for that move up to about 11,800, 11,900 was my target for yesterday. We got up to 11,750, it looks like, on BitMexico, so not quite there, but close enough is close enough. And I ended up taking profits on my long position, right around as we broke back down below the structure, below about 11,550, as we spoke about yesterday. Now, as Bitcoin comes back down to this white 200 simple, we do have essentially the same play open once again, and this is just another great example of that saying that my mentor used to always drill into my head, which I fucking hated, but it goes a little something like this: it works, Until it doesn't. And we have something that's been working for about 6 months now. So the trend is your friend until the end of the trend. But what I'm referring to right here is the 2-hour dildo time frame with regards to the white 200 simple moving average and the blue 377 exponential moving average, which ever since we turned around the trend in what was it, early February, you do see that these two moving averages have been great insight in what we're actually doing in this phase. Whenever we break down below the white 200 simple, we actually get reaccumulated around, around the blue 377 exponential moving average. And more importantly, once we boost back up above the white 200 simple, it's typically a pretty damn nice move. You see this first big one right here going from about 4,000 to 5,300. Then Bitcoin breaks back down below the white 200 simple right here again, gets reaccumulated on the blue 377, and boom, up once, massive move up from about 5,300 to 8,500 once again, and then we break it down right on over here, same sort of price action, breaks back above, and we get a move from 8,250 to almost 14,000, and then we did it more recently this past week, which we were also getting long off of. Of course, it's not financial advisor, but this is why I was doing what I was doing, and essentially I'm happy to actually play off this white 200 simple each and every time that we get down to it, because when you actually do see a break below this, you'll if you go in the past prior examples, there are always floods of price action below the white 200 simple. So my point is that yesterday, as soon as we saw that first 2-hour dildo fail to really break the white 200 simple and actually get picked up right again there once again, that was great insight in what the bots and algos are doing, and they're still programmed to be on the buy side. So if they're doing that, I want to be on the same side as them. And what I ended up doing after closing my long position right here and taking about $300-400 profit in price action, not in position, not in P&L, of course it's going to be much more, but I just relonged this area right here. So for full transparency, these are positions that I'm running right now. I do have a couple of spreads on my options sheet, and we'll get to that in just a second. But with regards to this, basically just doing the same thing that I did before. It works until it does not. And again, how many times does it need to work in order for you to be, profitable, for you to be successful over time? Literally just one. If you have good risk management, literally just one will set you up, for long-term success. And it's still working, until we get both an open and close below the white 200 simple on the 2-hour dildo time frame. The trend is still, this consolidation I would still be saying is overall bullish. If we do break below the white 200 simple, if we actually open and close a 2-hour dildo, to be very, very clear, we've certainly closed several below, but we've never opened and closed 2-hour dildo below. So it takes a little bit of an artist's eye. It's not going to be 100% accurate. But the second that we actually break this and open and close a 2-hour dildo below, which is currently around 11,250 and rising over time, then I'd be looking for a move all the way back down to the blue 377 exponential moving average. So if we actually ended up breaking this moving average right here, I would be looking for a flood of price action down to low 10,000s, 10,250, and I do think that would have confluences with actually destroying the higher time frames and really make this look a lot more bearish. But you can probably tell it in my voice, I'm not leaning bearish, and the more that Bitcoin gets picked up off this area, the more and more it becomes visually apparent that the bots and algos are on the buy side, and I am bullish, man. I'm sounding like a goddamn perma bull each and every day. It's so fucking embarrassing, but you know what? It's better to be a dumb bull in in an overall uptrend than a smart bear in an overall uptrend, and vice versa for the bear market. I mean, shit, man. During 2018, everyone was calling me a fucking perma bear. Stupid perma bear. You idiot. You think that Bitcoin's gonna break 6,000? How dare you? It's like, okay, well, again, better to be a bear in a bear market, right? Anyways, with regards to this whole chart right here, this is just the very simplistic way of trading, which, again, it works until it don't. And I'm happy to hold this position long with about, 17 and a half deltas to the upside for my spot positions. But I do have a few running options positions, so this is not exactly what it seems like, right? I am short, basically. I'm basically short a spread. So what did I do here? I shorted the 11,000 strike in the money calls for about $750. So I'm basically making money all the way up to 750, and then don't really make money above there. But then I longed the 11,500, so I put on the call spread there. And I think I bought these guys for about $350 or $400 last week. And then I shorted the 12,000 strike for premium. So I basically put a spread on a spread. And of course, options always have people trading options always want to make it more complicated than what it really is. What really is it at the end of the day? I mean, it's just a couple of spreads. It probably has some sort of fucking name like a inverted butterfly scissor fuck. Does that help? No. What is it? It's just a call spread, really. And while I am, I am leaning bullish. So the thing is that I probably will end up covering these 12,000 strike calls, because right now I have I'm net short 13 Bitcoin on my calls. Sorry, 13 Bitcoin on my options, and then I'm net long 17 and a half Bitcoin on my spot positions. So I have a little bit of upside exposure, limited downside exposure, more importantly, and I'm covered all the way to 11,000 essentially. And more importantly with that, it gives me plenty of time to make decisions here. And the premium on these strikes is so fucking so forgiving. You gotta love it. Anyways, so that's kind of what I'm running right now. And of course, I'm still in the process of setting up my place. So my focuses are not on my streamer account. They're on, first and foremost, they're on my main account, not the streamer account that I've been showing. And then right now, what's taking priority over everything is setting up my place. So again, don't really want to have too many open deltas, although I do like what I see from this region. So let's actually go up, let's put back on all these major moving averages, and let's actually go up the time frames, and I'll kind of explain why I do think that Bitcoin pulls through here and actually reaches back around towards $12,000 and probably beyond, and that is going over here to the daily. So the daily seems to have put in a nice little base of price action. We're still above the yellow 20-month exponential moving average, and that was, again, I'm never going to be bearish as long as we're above this moving average right here. This yellow moving average right here on the daily. And you can see that Bitcoin's been holding it valiantly, and in fact, we haven't even come back down and tested it recently. And looking at our momentum oscillators, our good old mom chicken tendies oscillators, we do see that daily stocks want to cross back up to the upside, and these have been fucking phenomenal in getting actual price action moves. And look at this; it's happening right at the edge of the bearish controls, and exactly what we spoke about yesterday. You're likely to see a lot of bots and algos, pick this area up, and especially looking at the overall structure, setting in just to higher lows. What this looks like to me in this overall consolidation. I still have to run with the bullish interpretation of this, and what's more important is we do see for longer term trend. Of course, I love my Stokes, but RSI needs some love as well, and RSI just oscillating between the bullish control zone and the neutral zone. So to me, this is a bullish consolidation, through and through, and we're actually closer to the neutral zone than we are not. In fact, I know some people are calling this an inverted head and shoulders. I wouldn't really identify it like that, but I mean, usually you don't get an inverted head and shoulders as a continuation pattern to begin with, but it's very rare that it happens. But remember, when you're actually trading with the overall trend, the percentage chances of these, of these patterns playing out is actually significantly more. And if I could recall correctly, I do believe that an inverted head and shoulders continuation pattern in an overall uptrend does have a success rate somewhere around like 62 to 64%, something like that. I need to go back through my studies and really hash these ones out. But yeah, that, it does look okay here. And more importantly, our higher time frames look constructive. I mean, it looks like a healthy consolidation. It's just in the way that Bitcoin does it. So looking at the 2-day right here, I mean, it's the same thing, right? From daily and 2-day, and right now I'm back on the 2-day, or sorry, on the daily. I'm not bearish as long as we're above the yellow 21. Just like on the 2-day, I'm not bearish as long as we're holding that red 10 simple. It looks fine to me. I mean, on the 2-day, we came all the way back down and retested the yellow 21. It was bought up immediately. I mean, this is a phenomenal reaction right here. And now we're trending back above all major moving averages. Not only that, but all major moving averages are diverging from each other. So we're strengthening into the upside, more importantly, and we do have all lower periods trade above higher periods. Intuitively, that is, well, it's telling you that the trend is strong to the upside. Not only, let's actually bring up our oscillators here. We do see 2-day Stokes getting back down to the edge of the bullish control zone. So if we do see any sort of any sort of upside activity back around the 12,000 area, we will see those turn back around, and that will just lead on to the avalanche of effects that we see from the daily, which do run across the upside. Looks like to me, as long as Bitcoin closes here or higher by end of day 8 p.m. Eastern time, we will, those will confirm back to the upside, and 2-day will be the next to follow. Not only that, but 2-day RSI, what do we have here? Not really telling us too much, actually. In fact, not really too much to be gained off that, and I don't know why I have this open right here. I want to be aware of everything else though. 2-day, what is 2-day Jewel looking like? 2-day Jewel will actually be getting down to a support region probably on the next tick, and I believe that we get that next tick. Do we get it tonight? Yeah, we do. It's the 8th. So 8 p.m. Eastern time, I would be looking for that to probably turn around and touch down on that support region. That is a fib right there. It's going to be the 382 from this perspective. So if you do have access to the Jewel, if you're new to the Jewel, understand these regions, and definitely watch all of the videos in the Jewel program, because it is very important to understand how this indicator works. It is not intuitive. I see a lot of people saying, oh, we're flashing red in the background, so it's definitely a sell. No, fuck no. No. It's not the way it works. There's a lot more to it than that. Let's go over here to the 3-day. What's the 3-day looking like? And again, we spoke about this yesterday because yesterday we actually set in this 3-day dildo right here, right? And, do you want to call this an inverted hammer? I suppose you could, but more importantly, if this is going to be an inverted hammer, then it provides a nice structural support, right? As long as we're above the low of this prior dildo, which is 10,755, so it's kind of a big range here. But to be fair, it's when you look at it from the 3-day, it's completely fine. This to me looks like it wants to work its way back up towards. Let's actually get our price tickers on here. 13,000 actually. From a 3-day dildo time frame perspective, to be very clear. But that also means if we do take out the low of this guy right here, then we're going to be looking at an avalanche of effects down to low 9,000s. 9,200 to 9,300 would be the target, and probably lower, lower beyond that. But what I'm kind of looking around in the market right now, and keep in mind, I've had a very limited exposure to the overall sentiments, but it seems to me like most people are actually looking for a move down to 8,500. It seems like most people are calling for that, and I think right now it's actually the counter it's actually the counter trade thing to do, to actually be long and be looking at this with bullish eyes. But of course, I'm always going to look at something with bullish eyes when you're in an overall fucking uptrend. I mean, Jesus Christ, man. I just I feel like these gaps have become such a fucking meme, and I always go on this tirade. I don't want to go on it today, but basically, hey, if someone's talking about gaps and they haven't traded traditional marks, or they've been trading for less than a few years, I'll just leave it there. Okay. Anyways, looking at our 3-day moving averages, we are above all major moving averages. We're going to be seeing that green 50 exponential moving average cross the upside of this white 200 simple, which for long-term trend, this does offer up a couple of interesting things, right? So let's go over here to Bitstamp, where we get more price action history. And the last time that we actually saw this crossing happen to the upside, to be clear, was right on over here during the turnaround in 2016. So you see Bitcoin actually dumped into this region. It actually had about a 35% dump. No, about a 23.5% dump from top to bottom off this area, and retested the green 50 exponential moving average as these guys crossed. Can we expect something similar this time? I'd say I'm not really looking for it to happen. It would actually be a significantly different signature here if we were to have it happen from here to here, about 33%, 34%. It's not my first interpretation of these charts. I don't think that that's what's happening, but if we were to take out the low of not yesterday's, but the prior 3-day dildo at, again, 10,750-ish region, then we can talk about that as a target. First and foremost, so a target would be about 9,200 to 9,300, and then we can talk about 8,500 after that. But for right now, looking at the good old mom oscillators, we do see 3-day RSI. I mean, obviously bearish divergence here, but I believe that's mostly played out with this 30% move from top to bottom right here. I mean, this is pretty hefty move. It's nothing to be like unconcerned with. And looking at 3-day Stokes, this would be the most concerning thing to me, and this is the most bearish thing that I can find right now. So I do want to represent both sides accurately, right? While I do lean to the bullish side, while I am positioned to the bullish side, hey, it's not, we're not seeing all of the stars aligning right now. Although I do feel that Bitcoin does move up here, but this right here, this signature that you see with the 3-day Stokes, is concerning, because from the whole history of Bitcoin, each and every time that we get above the critical zone, on the bullish side, we can stay up there for a long time, but typically we only get one bounce. Well, yeah, we only get one bounce, and then the second time that we come back down below the critical zone, it is a flood. So we have this first example right here, comes down, bounces back up, and then flood. Then another one right here comes up, first one bounces on around the critical zone, and then flood. And then same thing right here, a little bit more accurately, same thing right here, same thing right here, same thing right here, and we have a very similar signature right here. Also, divergence on the 3-day Stokes as well, by the way, as price actually makes a higher high and Stokes make a lower high. And this would be a little bit more damning, I suppose. But would I blindly trade off of that? No. The answer is absolutely not. And I do think that I feel more strongly about other things that the things that we're actually seeing that we spoke about in the beginning of this video. Those have been working a lot better. Let's look at the 3-day Joule for a second. 3-day Joule is getting down to the white. It's white on my screen. If you have access to the Joule, it might be yellow if you haven't changed your colors. Which that's just personal preference, doesn't make any difference. No, white is better. No, can't say that on the internet. Sorry, I'm literally just talking about a color, not about anything else. Jesus Christ, man, that one's gonna be cut up in terrible ways and spread across the internet. My God, man. Anyways, my point is, more importantly, besides color, we don't see colors here, okay? This oscillator right here, no matter what color you call it, is like a slower support in a way. And I actually would be looking for the light blue oscillator to bounce off this region. If we are to remain bullish, I want to see this next tick actually curl around, and that's when I'd actually be looking for a much more strong trendy move, likely into this red dotted line territory right here. That is where Bitcoin typically does play out as pretty nasty corrections in overall uptrends. You know, going back throughout the history of Bitcoin, actually almost every 30+% correction has been called with this. Actually, funnily enough, or perhaps not funnily enough, the last 30% correction that we had did not get called by the same signature, although we did have, you know, a pretty good signal right here. It wasn't the traditional signature that I'm looking for with the light blue oscillator to get into this critical zone right here, as you see in the past, flash red in the background and then get a negative slope. That's when, you know, 30 to 40% retracements have been called quite easily. Let's actually bring this up still. And so, you know, you can just line them up. We have about a 40% or 45% correction right there, about a 40. I'm not doing this right, but you get the idea. Like 30 to 40%. There we go. And pretty much works on just about every single one of them. So if we were to do that, that would imply that first and foremost we have more upside to go. And because this is a 3-day time frame, I mean, this could really take a long time for it to get from this region right here to this region right here. In fact, there's no real way to do it. More importantly, with the jewel, and this is so fucking important, if you do have access to the jewel, you do not front run these signals because they're not intuitive. They're not intuitive until you actually get the signal itself. There is no trade to be made. Unfortunately, there's no trade to be made, and I've only had bad experiences when I try to think that I'm smarter than this indicator, and I'll just leave it at that. Anyways, back onto the charts. Let's go check out the weekly, which is going to be closing later tonight as well at 8 p.m. Eastern time. I wonder if we have a bi-weekly close, and we'll check that in a second. But looking at the weekly right here, if we close anything like this, if we close anywhere above 11,000 or even 11,100, I'm bullish. This looks damn good. Let's actually put on the 9 exponential. I'm curious how this one's looking right now. It's going to get dragged up with this next tick, but it's going to be represented by the yellow moving average. There we go. Yeah, it's pretty damn close to that last low. And yeah, again, this is something that my mentor used to use in traditional markets when he was teaching me. And he said, you know, and we use it on the daily and weekly. Typically, during strong uptrends, you actually only want to come back down to this moving average. And if you have a good bounce off of it, well, you're still trending pretty much. And that's what we see right here. So this next tick should likely take that, drag that yellow moving average up and actually touch the wick of that guy. Again, this is making an assumption here that we actually, you know, close anywhere above 11. Let's call it 11,100 by end of night. If we do that, I'd be looking at this as a very strong weekly dildo close. Not only that, we do see, you know, weekly RSI is going to be likely going to be making higher highs if it does that as well. So trend is still okay, although we are building divergence. We certainly are building divergences. Don't get me wrong. I mean, this is extended. This is pretty extended right here, but do not. The worst thing you can do is be fucking rational in a near rational market, and this can always go higher. I mean, we used to speak about it in the overall downtrend when everyone was saying, "Hey man, the RSI is really low. The RSI is really low right now. It's screaming buy right here, right here, right here. RSI low, RSI low." And what happened to all those people? Well, they lost all their money and they started paid groups somewhere right around here, and missed this whole action. So unfortunately, you know, it's the RSI or just momentum oscillators in general. I don't care how high or low that they get. There's no such thing as overbought or oversold in trending marks. There's absolutely no such thing. There's such thing as divergences, which do play out, but you'll notice that divergences can get extended for quite some time. So even looking at the weekly RSI, you know, can it go higher? Absolutely, man. Absolutely fucking lutely. It can always go higher, bro. It's like, I always just imagine this guy, you know, coming off the, you know, he's surfing, and then he comes over and checks his computer and says, "Bro, you see that RSI? It's real high. I think it's time to sell and go short." Well, good luck with that, man, because, bro, you're about to get wrecked as fuck. You know, that kind of shit, man. And, you know, all jokes aside, it's still a question here, and that is the thing that I really want to get out. We're building divergences, yes, on all higher time frames, but are they going to play out right here, right now? I actually don't think so. I think that we probably have another leg before they play out. Looking at weekly Stokes, they are coming down. This is the first time that they've been coming down since really, you know, early February, since we actually switched around the overall trend. And historically speaking, they do like to come down pretty hard on this region, to be fair. But so far, if we close anywhere like this, I like that. And let's actually talk about where the bias changes from a higher time frame perspective. In fact, I mean, we already brushed on it on the on the daily, but from a weekly perspective, if we do close a weekly below about 10.7, so then again, it's just easy to use the daily. The dailies. The daily is pretty clear and cut and dry. If we lose a 21 exponential moving average, I would be bearish for a move down at the very least to 9,200 to 9,300, and probably we do come back down and fill the gap at 8,500 on CMEs. But until we actually break this area right here, I'm overall bullish. We're more importantly, we're in a consolidation right now, so it's not like a huge trendy move to be had just yet. But I would run with the not the assumption, but I would run with the bias. Things are more likely to float up here than not, as you do see Bitcoin just getting picked up and really just actually setting another higher low is what it looks like to me, which will be confirmed if we trade above the high of yesterday's daily total. So 11,735. If we do take out 11,735 to the upside on Stamp or whatever exchange that you are trading on, I would be looking for that move to get extended towards 12,300ish region and probably beyond over time. But that's kind of how I look at the daily. So again, if you just want the bite size analysis, that would be it. But let's go back down to the lower time frames. I do have a few more things to say about that, as we actually still have a lot of things here. Okay, 2 blue boxes, and again, you could just as easily do it on this time frame as well, as I do think that the 2-hour dildo time frame does hold a lot of weight with overall price action. You do see that the white 200 simple being a massive accumulator of price action. So if we do break that, we do come down to the blue 377 exponential moving average, it's going to have confluence with breaking this blue box territory, and also, which is 10,700 by the way, which is also the daily 21. So if we do that, then then we got some problems. But until that happens, I do think that this blue box territory to the upside is the liquid region that Bitcoin wants to reach for. More importantly, of course, so in the lower time frames, we do see we do have another resistance right here at about 11,530, if you want to call it that, the same area that we broke above yesterday. So if we do break back above this region right here, I do think that we'd get that move at the very least to 11.9 and probably into this blue box territory right here. We do see all of our lower time frames starting to switch around. So 2-hour Stochs actually are still down right now. Technically speaking, they're not confirmed to the upside. So not only are we getting picked back up off this same moving average and now actually above all major moving averages once again, and they are starting to switch around to a bullish posturing here. We do see momentum oscillators, agreeing with that. 2-hour RSI getting back above the exponential, not even really spending all that much time in the bearish control zone. I mean, this is just one massive consolidation, and that gets reflected the higher time frame that we go. I think a lot of people are getting faked out by this, but look at your historical volatility percentile here. It's just nice and calmly coming down. This is actually quite orderly. I know that because Bitcoin plays out these very violent moves, it doesn't feel like that, but understand that that's just par for the course with Bitcoin. We're dealing with big numbers. At the end of the day, when we look at this from a mathematical perspective, it's quite orderly actually. Looking at the hourly, it's probably going to be even better. Yeah, you can see the hourly is getting quite low. So when the historical volatility percentile gets, below into single digits, which we actually are just dipping our toesy-woesies into the single digits right now, that's where pretty massive moves can originate from. We saw the last one over here on the 20th of June, the last one before that on 14th, massive move on 25th of May. Back on over here, all these areas of importance. And so that is the value in looking at those time frames. But let's go over to the 4-hour. How's a 4-hour looking like? 4-hour just like consolidation. We do see 4-hour Stochs technically down right now, but look at this. If we do see the 2 hours switch right around, which I do think that we see, we're going to see this one follow through as well. And that's, and here's the thing. The medium time frames are not going to hold as much weight as the daily right now, which the daily wants to cross the upside. And if we do see the daily cross the upside, I don't think that we're going to, I think it goes without saying that we get to 14,300, 14,400, and probably beyond. We probably reach all the way back towards 13,000, and this starts trending once again. So if we do get that confirmed later tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern time on the next daily total close, I'm gonna switch around to I'll probably even add a little bit more onto my positions. Let's go through the 6-hour. I haven't checked out this one just yet. 6-hour looks constructive. Again, just created another higher low is what it did. That's all. In fact, 6-hour 6-hour a little bit better at representing this price action too. I should mention this. Well, should I have it here? No, we can do it like this. Yeah, if Bitcoin even just gets back above this this prior swing, or not swing high, but local high right here, very, very likely that we do see this move into the 12,000s actually. 8-hour, what's 8-hour looking like? Same thing. What's 10-hour looking like? Same thing. What's 12-hour looking like? Same thing, in 12-hour momentum oscillators, giving a little bit of a fake out here. But usually when I see a fake out like this, it actually does align with it does align with a nice move in the same direction as the prior. So that would be still the upside. Fake outs are usually well, they're designed to fake people out, right? A lot of people getting bearish, a lot of people looking for a move down into the 4 digits. Once again, I just don't think that that's what's happening here. Higher timeframes look fine, very low timeframes look fine. It's the medium timeframes that are a little bit wonky, but I do think that they're going to pull through here. Again, I like this setup, actually. I do like this setup. I think it's tradable, and of course, it's not just because I think it's 100% going to work out or anything like that. No, it's because we have a very easy and obvious way to manage risk right upon the 2-hour 200 is how I'm doing it right now. Of course, not financial advisor, just sharing exactly what I'm thinking in the exact sort of same situations. And of course, with a little bit of skin in the game, I'm happy to I'm happy to share these. Anyways, let's go check out. I think we should check out CMEs for a second here. CMEs did close the week relatively okay. They closed about 11,000, almost 300, and it does look to me like we basically, this just looks like a buy up after the gap fill. I do like this. We hit the 382 Fibonacci retracement from an ultimate high to the ultimate low fib from the past market cycle, and if the bots are going to be buying this area right here, their target is actually likely to be the 618. We will have resistance right around the 0.5, but longer term, the target is going to be the 618, and to a lesser degree, I probably shouldn't say it. I'm not going to say it right now, but you know what I'm thinking. I'll just point in this direction. Anyways, okay, so nothing's changed on GBTC. Nothing's changed really on anything that trades on traditional market timeframes. So let's talk about a little bit more long-term analysis here. So first and foremost, I'm not going to go through the full long-term analysis because there's not really too much new things to say there. But what I do want to talk about is the Bitcoin network momentum, which is a fundamental indicator, as you can see right here. Once again, just making sure that I'm actually recording and my mic's working. I actually started recording this video earlier and I realized my mic was not on. Great one, Krown. Jesus Christ. So bad. But we do see that the Bitcoin network momentum is still kind of struggling its way forwards. What I really want to see on this brown oscillator here is I want to see it hook around and create a higher low and then get back above this horizontal right here. But let me explain why this is important. Well, you do see that this oscillator, the brown oscillator is the Bitcoin network momentum. The yellow is, Bitcoin price. And we do see that there's a very obvious signature here when we're creating higher lows. Good. And once we kind of, break above this, this past prior high right here, this swing high, that is when our bull market starts, right? So getting the bullish momentum from this area right here all the way for the next couple of years, of which, at which time we create this support trend line. We actually rally off it a couple times. And then once we break back down below it right here, that's when price action starts to flood to the downside. We put in our top of 2014 and Bitcoin then starts making lower lows. And then we actually don't put in the low when Bitcoin stops making lower lows or even makes a higher low. It's right actually when we break back above this horizontal right here, which is at this price point, as you can see, lining up on right here. You do see that's about when Bitcoin bottomed out, and then Bitcoin starts to basically accumulate in this region right here. And then what happens after that? Once we start gaining momentum back above this prior support trend line or resistance, depending upon your disposition. Bitcoin actually starts to trend once again back to the upside. So we're creating not just higher lows, but we're getting back above this area right here, at which point we set in another horizontal, right? And that's basically when we break the highs of the past prior market cycle, and then Bitcoin rallies off this area for the next few years, becomes a nice base support. And once Bitcoin breaks back down below it, same reaction as we saw right on over here. Bitcoin essentially puts in the highs a little bit later. It doesn't tell you the day of, but it gets the momentum of it. And then we've been downtrending for the past year or so. And now we're going to have a chance to make a higher low on this. So my point is that would be the next necessary thing to happen. But I really don't get super excited for like a long-term long bear market. Although I'm sorry, not long-term bear market. I mean long-term bull market from this indicator's perspective, until we actually break back above the horizontal from the past market cycle, which would be right here. So you can see that we're actually still quite far away. So that would suggest that the party hasn't begun actually just yet. Bitcoin back above 14,000. Nicely done, Mr. Bitcoin. Powerful Bitcoin, beautiful Bitcoin. Oh, I love you, Bitcoin. I love you, Bitcoin. Good old Sinatra over there. Fucking love it, man. Oh, I sound probably like a complete moron as well. But you know what? It's worth it. It's worth it because holy shit, man, that guy was talented. Anyways, yeah, lower time frames looking fine here. Hourly Stokes pointed back up. 2-hour Stokes about to cross the upside and confirm to the upside. This one wants to at the very least hit 11,005, and I do think that we break 11,005 and work our way into this region right here. So like I said, there's not too many other from a long-term analysis perspective, there are not too many other things to be aware of that I haven't already said in prior videos, but I suppose we could just briefly touch on this for just a second here. I want to bring attention to the dotted trend line that you see with the red arrows pointing towards it, going all the way back to the genesis of Bitstamp. This trend line right here has been a great indication of where we are within the overall market cycle. So I guess I want to speak directly right now to the exuberant bears, I suppose, because I don't really think that we're going to be doing anything major downside anytime soon. So this trend line, the relevancy of it is that when Bitcoin's below it, it's kind of in an accumulation zone, and basically, selling on the trend line is a phenomenal play, right? You got to sell right here, you got to sell right here, you got to sell right here, all great plays. And what happens when Bitcoin actually breaks back above it? Well, the whole trend is flipped up, switched to the upside, and boom, massive, powerful, girthy green dildo to the upside once here, blow off top, and then again, and then again, another year later. And then what happens after that? Bitcoin comes all the way back down and bases along this dotted trend line, and then we go blow off our top once again a couple of years later. A few years later, and then what happens in 2018? We actually break down below this trend line, which was also confluent with the 200 exponential moving average on the weekly. Very, very important for long-term trend identification. And Bitcoin then accumulates in this region again, same signature that we see back in 2012, 2011. And what happens after that? Bitcoin breaks back above it right here. You can see that it's not just confluent with the white 200 simple, which is also very important for long-term trend. You do see that the white 200 simple, if I just take this off for a second, on the 3-day has been a pretty damn good indication of where we are. You can see when we broke it right on over here, bad. When we gain it right on over here, good. And same thing right on over here, break it, bad. Regain it, good. It's also confluent with this dotted trend line, also confluent with the 3-day golden cross, which pretty much in the same area as well, as you see back from 2014, 2015. Bitcoin comes back down and retests these areas once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, and rallies off it. So that tells me, and also the 618 Fibonacci retracement, by the way, from a retracement from the ultimate high to the ultimate low of the past market cycle. So more importantly, we're getting clear and obvious signals that this is getting played off of. If you've been tuning into this channel for a while, remember me saying that when we broke down below this dotted trend line, I was actually quite concerned because I wasn't sure that we'd ever get back above it again. But now that we've seen this signature, we can see over a longitudinal time frame that it's not a death sentence. What it is, it's actually an accumulation phase. So again, Bitcoin proving itself, and I'd say that each and every time that Bitcoin breaks above this trend line, we spend years above it. So I don't think that Bitcoin's going below this trend line anytime soon. And in fact, this trend line can now be used as a potential low with regards to time analysis, although I don't put too much weight on this. Am I, to be very, 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 very clear, am I making decisions off this? Fuck no, I'm not. But I think it's interesting and gives insight into what Bitcoin is, probably doing. And over time, we can kind of come up with price targets going forwards here. So if we look at this as a base for price action, we can then go to, perhaps the beginning of 2020 and see where this trend line would be at, and it would be around 13,000. So that would be, your support, your potential low for beginning of 2020. I'd say that Bitcoin's very, 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 very likely to be above 13,000. Not only that, but if we, just extend that a year forwards to January 2021, this trend line would be at 32,000, 33,000. Then if we did it even another year, which Jesus Christ, man, this is putting me in a perma-bull territory. This is like just completely retarded what I'm doing. Sorry, retarded in the scientific sense, not in a mean sense. This would put us around 80,000 in 2021, or sorry, beginning of 2022. Again, it doesn't mean that we can't break back down below it, but you can see, historically speaking, once we're above it, we like to stay above it for a long time. And when we break below it, it gets a little bit of time below there, but it's an area to take action on, is my point. So it gives us a reference point of what sort of phase we're in. And to me, we just broke back above it. So I think all is well and good. Of course, we can also look at the good old Super Gup too, which I don't really talk about all that much, but why not? Why not while we're here? Hey, can you spell Krown, or are you stupid? Well, Probably a little bit of both. Okay, let's see. This is your super gup, and we do see that we've turned green for the first time in a very long time. And this thing likes to stay colors. It's a very user-friendly indicator. When it's green, stays green for a long time. When it's red, stays red for a long time. And same thing right on over here, and same thing right on over here. And we just turned green. So again, longer term, I'm bullish on Bitcoin, man. There's no two ways about it. As long as we're above these pivots on the market from a long-term perspective, I am bullish. So again, this trend line, the trend line in question is currently coming in around about 8,200. If Bitcoin did come back down around there, it'd probably be a big bar. If we break it to the downside, then we have a clear and obvious signal that we're doing something new, and it's no longer time to be bullish anymore. But until that happens, I think the people calling for like major downside moves are, I just don't know what they're going off of. I'd have to respectfully disagree or disrespectfully disagree and say you're just kidding. Anyways, let's go check out longs and shorts. We do see that this indicator is completely fucking useless because you can claim positions off the books. Sadly, we do see the rate. However, the interest rate is interesting. That is something that is measurable and is certainly tangible. And we see longs actually paying pretty significant rates. So again, one more tick on the bearish side, although I'm not really leaning towards it, but I do want to accurately represent it. I don't want to make a straw man out of this because that doesn't really help anyone, including myself. Anyways, get this guy back on, and let's actually talk about the monthly and yearly while we're here. So I'll put it on. Sorry, not the yearly, but the quarterly. Monthly, I think our last monthly that we closed for June was extremely strong. We saw a little bit of profit taking, and to me, we just came back down to supports, and I don't think that we have significant downside this month. I think that we're going to see continuation. Looking at our monthly Stokes, looks fine. Very erect, getting back above this region right here. Looking at monthly RSI, getting back into the bullish control zone, although we did get rejected, the last time that we did this, setting up for a nice 30-40% retracement right on over here, actually. But we also do see monthly Jewel getting back above the the pink oscillator, which would suggest that we're kind of setting up as well. Not a full-on signal, certainly not a full-on signal, but it is, it's confirmation of trend is what I look at it as. And not only that, but we do see the monthly Challenger bands looking pretty damn good here. We closed pretty damn close to the top Challenger band. I do think that we pushed I do think that we actually test this top Challenger band once again, which is coming in around. Oh, show me the damn price, you bastard, motherfucker, man. Why does it do this? Around 13,200. More importantly, it's the quarterly that I really want to focus on here, because the quarterly, which just closed last week, I believe it was, we closed very, 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 very strong towards the top Challenger band, which is what you're going to get during strong trending moves. So I do think that we're setting up here, and more importantly, quarterly Stokes, they're about to freshly cross the upside. But remember, this is going to take 3 months to really confirm itself, but that really starts to offer up the perspective. And again, I'm going to run the risk of being called a fucking stupid permeable, but I do think that it's not just possible, it's actually quite likely. Fuck, I can't believe I'm saying this shit, man. But I do believe this. So I should say it. I think it's quite likely that we actually get back towards 20,000 in before end of year. I mean, shit, maybe even in the next 3 months. But very, very likely. I shouldn't say very likely, but strong possibility before end of year in the next 5-6 months. Back around of prior highs. So I mean, that's really off to say from a long-term perspective. Again, if you want a more thorough look, perhaps check out the prior long-term analysis videos. I like to do these every week. And just, I guess while we're here, let's look at the volume profile on this time frame as well. I mean, here's the thing: if Bitcoin can start closing weeklies above this last kind of, this is not even high value nodes. I mean, this is just relative to the space, which is above 11,500. There's extremely low market acceptance above this region. An area of interest is going to be around what is this, maybe like 14,000, 15,000 region, but and then obviously your swing high from the bull trap at 16,000 a year and a half ago. But overall, I mean, I think Bitcoin's just going to fucking rip. If we start to get above this area and start closing strong healthy dildos above there. I mean, again, it hasn't happened just yet, but if it does happen, that would be my interpretation of what's going on here. Anyways, get this guy off, and let's go check out the other top shitcoins, see how they're falling through. And we see the same thing. This would also belie a little bit more on the bearish side. We just don't see the same sort of reaction from the altcoins, but I do think that Mr. Buteral is setting up here. I think that it pulls through. I think that you're going to see Mr. Buteral back around 320 to 330ish region. Again, this is not the popular trade right now, but we see daily Stokes coming all the way down here. We're fighting for the yellow 21. I kind of like this actually. It's very sloppy, but that's cryptocurrency. cryptocurrencies. Cryptocurrencies are fucking sloppy, but if you stick around here for long enough, you'll notice that that's just the way that they like to play. I do think that Mr. Budal is actually setting up for a move towards 320 to 330. Call me crazy. I'd only get bearish on Mr. Budal if not even close, but just tick below the low of today at about 284. If we tick below the low of today at 284, then I'd be looking for a move all the way back down here towards 250. But I don't think that that's what's happening. What about Mrs. Litecoin? 119. It looks like same thing here. Sloppy, ugly as fuck. But Litecoin, you used to be such a beautiful bitch. Now you're fucking gross, disgusting, pathetic. No, just kidding. My point is that she is beautiful. We would never talk down to ladies in this channel. We are very accepting of all genders and creeds and whatever the fuck else they have now. I don't know, man. I don't understand any of that shit. But you know what? I'm not here to offend anyone, man. Call you whatever the fuck you want me to call you. You just let me know. But I see it's kind of the same setup here. As long as it holds the green 50, as we said the other day, I think this is just an accumulation zone. I think that's what we're seeing right here. We do see daily Stokes still down. We see daily RSI actually creating a little bit of, do we have some sort of bullish divergences here? Yeah, a little bit, a very slight amount between this point and this point. So I do think that we pop back up towards 130-ish region. I think it's going to follow through with the rest of the market. I think most people are thinking down here. You see a lot of people on crypto Twitter being arrogantly bearish, just like we saw all the arrogant bulls, get absolutely shreked during 2018. We're kind of getting the equal but opposite reaction here. But here's the thing, man. Here's the thing. It's very funny to me because it's very funny to me because you see both the gangs going, man, and you want to be in the trader gang. You don't want to be in the fucking bull or bear gang. Both those gang members, they get fucking shreked over time. I've seen so many people just lose it, man. They can't adapt to the new market cycle. But that's a value technical analysis, understanding when those things change around. Let's go check out Link BTC. Losing it a little bit here. This one's kind of contra to Bitcoin. I would hold off on this one. If this weekly does close anywhere below 31,000 satoshis, I'd have to be looking for a greater pullback down to 25,000 satoshis if that does happen, and I'd wait for the weekly on this one. Daily looks a little bit droopy here, but a little bit too early to call this one. Yeah, I'd wait for the weekly to close. If it closes below 31,000 satoshis, I'd be looking for a move down to about 26,000 satoshis. If it closes above, then I'd have to still think of this as trending. Yeah, fair enough. Cardano getting tracked once again. Again, I don't think that there's any talks of alt season anytime soon. I think that's just kind of a Moon Boys pipe dream right now. Are we putting in any bullish divergence here? A little bit. Did we get that move to the red 10 simple I was looking for yesterday? No, we didn't even get that. Holy shit. I think it still probably does happen. But and again, I don't mean to pick on Cardano. We can look at it versus the dollar. It looks okay versus the dollar. It's not terrible versus the dollar. But this just represents most altcoin charts. Most altcoins look some variation of this, where they just have one massive move up and then dump it on their faces all the way down, baby, for the next couple of years. As you keep on promising, we have a roadmap, we have a white paper, we have Shitchain is coming. Shitchain's gonna have its mainnet soon. It's like, what does that even mean? It means that you literally just put up your first fucking mainnet. You don't even have a product, do you? Okay, great. But it's probably just better to look, before I piss too many people off, it's probably just better to look at the Bitcoin dominance chart, which again, I don't know what people are seeing on this, man. People are calling this like a fucking triple top. Good luck with that. Good luck with that, man. Good luck with that. This is bullish as fuck. Looking at the weekly, bullish as fuck. I mean, this thing wants to go up. Higher time frames are bullish as fuck. I mean, we can have pullbacks in lower time frames. That's completely fine. But here's your monthly. Here's your weekly. Both are. I mean, the monthly looks like it wants to take a leg towards 69 to 72 region. That's gonna not look good for many alts. And of course, when we look at the monthly, for altcoin index, wow. Hey guys, just a bunch of FUD. Krown spreading FUD with his charts again. Hate that guy. Yeah, well, just calling it like a season, man. I could choose any coin and it's going to look some variation like this. But this is why I've been choosing to represent them versus US dollar, because technically I should be looking at them versus Bitcoin because, because you want to be knowing, what would you be making more money on? Are you making more money holding Bitcoin or holding, Shitchain here? Not Cardano as a Shitchain, but just, XYZ Shitchain, if you catch my drift. And the reason why I've been looking at them versus US dollar is just because it's a little bit more, it's just nicer, really. And I know that people really love their altcoins a lot of the time. So it's also kind of just avoidance of of the pitchforks and mobs. But yeah, if we're looking at BNB here, next one up, did catch the red 10 simple. I'm still have a little bit of trouble with this chart here. I don't feel strongly about it one way or the other, but if Bitcoin's going to turn up, you're probably going to see this one move its way back towards 35.5 bucks, most likely. I mean, you see the same sort of accumulation around the 50 exponential as we do see on Litecoin. What about Zcash? Are we going to say the same thing? Oh my God, probably the same thing. Probably move towards 110. Bcash probably move towards 440. What is? They look all the same. There's no real value. I mean, people always ask, "Hey, Krown, can you add this? Can you add XYZ shit chain to your trading list?" Sure. It looks exactly the same as them all. So probably not the best use of time. Tron Cash probably move back towards 3.5. Neocash needs to hold $16.5, but probably moves back towards 19 bucks. EOS Cash probably moves back towards 630. What else we got? Ripple Me Nipples Cash, 39.5 cent. This one's interesting now because we are going to be approaching this trend line right here, but I do believe that looking at the volume signature, we're still just consolidating, and really the right way to be doing this is we just redraw, and this is why I fucking hate diagonals. I really dislike using diagonal trend lines. I had to use it on this one just because it's the only way that was really making sense on this one, and well, this is technically the right thing to do, and I do think that it probably works its way back towards 43 cents region, probably beyond. We do see, daily Stokes. Everyone's getting into deep and down and dirty zone, and really, just kind of hugging supports. Monero Cash, what's Monero doing? Nice move on Monero. Monero a little bit on the stronger side, I would say. It's kind of hitting the same area that I think a lot of these altcoins going to move towards, and I do think that Monero has more to go here, but right at resistance, 101.5, as we said yesterday, we did get that move, and I do think that we work our way back towards, this 117 high and probably beyond. What else we got? Stellar Cash, last one, 10.5 cent. Same thing as Ripple. What do you do here? I mean, it's just a sloppiest fucking. I mean, this is technically not a flag. It would be a descending broadening wedge, which is a bullish pattern. But I'd be looking for a move back towards 11.25 cent. Anyways, back on a Bitcoin. Let's wrap this bitch up, and then I'll leave you off because don't want to take any more of your time than I need to. But Bitcoin, looking like lower time frames reaccumulate in the same area. Again, it's still working, and I am long, and I'm looking for a move at the very least towards 11.5, 11.6. And if we do break this area, which I think is quite likely, we're gonna see daily Stokes fall through as well. And once these guys get turned up, I'd say that the next target's gonna be 12.4 to 12.3, and probably beyond after that. But for right now, that's going to do it. I still think that the overall name of the game is consolidation, as you do see with the historical volatility percentile on the daily getting quite high. It's not until we get back. It's not until we get wrangled back below this moving average where I'd say we're likely to trend again. So for right now, I'm still holding long, and I am happy to hold. And sorry, more importantly, I'm happy to hold long as we are we are opening and closing 2-hour dildos above this white 200 moving average. If we do close below there, then I will. Then I won't get short. I don't really have any interest in shorting, as I've been saying for a while. But I would get back to neutral and just kind of watch price action unfold, and probably have a target somewhere down here at the very least towards 10.7. And if that area does break, then we could talk about targets down to 9.2, 9.3, and 8,500. But for right now, still liking what I'm seeing. And with that said, I'll leave you off for the rest of the day. I do want to remind you that the sale for all the programs is valid until tonight. Whenever the clock strikes midnight is when it'll end. So there you go. And as always, wishing you well on this lovely little Sunday morning here from Chicago, Illinois. Take care and see you soon, my friends.